All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our next matchup. This is JZ versus Rain. I believe JZ is the number 1 for China. Rain, number 2 for EU.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah. So, Raptor, tell us about Rain, sir.
Spawning in the green here, Rain on the north side of North. Let's start with the sea flank. Malamutes, Montana, going for a little bit of accuracy there in the slot 6. The American battleships, not surprising. Mostly a survivability there. Build there, also running Brisk. Fronted by Artorias' Moskva, not running the unique upgrade. A little surprise there, opting for gun reload instead. Sheep's Kleber, unique upgraded Kleber, so a little less detect, a little more stealthy, but just as fast, a little less gunpowder. Madark's Daring here headed to the north side of B, a position we saw Sniper play earlier for Shaft very effectively. He's a bit more of a gun build though. Heading over to A, very heavy Rain deployment to A. We're looking at Server Hopper's Demont and going for secondary range and accuracy there. Lulu's Brisbane, again, a little more of a torpedo-focused build there, but also going for gun reload, so kind of a mix, middle of the road there. Bashi's Gearing, very standard gearing build we've been seeing throughout the event. Running Dazzle Zath, have a look at that. We're starting to see more Dazzle as we get deeper in the event. Gangbarang's Kleber fronting the whole shebang here, a more traditional build there, purely a gun reload and gun build. As Hexogen's Ragnar here taking the inside track, heading to A with a little bit of gun range and reload. Opposing from the south, Zath, what do we got, JZ?
So JZ, over at the A side, we have a Yu Yang torpedo radar spec, of course. Already early radar from Langwo's Stalingrad, trying to get C-cap covered. Kleber just outside that radar range. Continuing on the lineup, we've got a Venezia to the south of A with range build, probably trying to farm out whatever they discover. Speaking of discover, Lao Pao's Yu Yang now covered on Hexogen's radar. Supporting them at A is a Sniper Spect Ohio. We got a Salem south of B-cap with a reload build. Ragnar working together. We've seen those two trying to make something happen at B quite a bit, failing to do so oftentimes. South of C, we've got Nuomish Schlieffen, which is a secondary build, and I'm kind of excited to see a main battery modification in slot 6 instead of secondaries. Fronted by our Napoli here, that is survivability plus gun spec. And we have Darling in a Kleber all the way up already, Echo 9 spot with a unique upgrade build. And he's got radio location, so he wants to know who's coming from where.
Already, Rain having picked up A and C, wasting no time. We're not even 3.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And they are already ticking up points. Server Hopper took a deep water torpedo here in that gap between A and B, so he's down a little bit of health. And they were able to try and shave a little bit of health off of that JZ Stalingrad. We watched some of that, some big battleship salvos coming in on Langwo, but he weathered that fire pretty effectively.
Yep, so I want to comment real quick on your discussion of Vermont. Oh, by the way, reminder, guys, Des Moines, Marseille were banned. Server Hopper, if you look at Server Hopper, he's running the extra AP damage skill. The interesting thing about that is that increases the time that you are on fire or flooding. So, could possibly be farmed out a little bit easier to trade for more damage with those heavier AP shells.
It's possible, but it seems unlikely to happen on this flank right now because there's so few JZ ships on this flank to focus him.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't come into play right now, but it might come into play later because he's playing a little more mid-position. Maybe he'll find himself having to play defenses. JZ pushes through C or something. I don't know. It's too early to call.
Yeah, I'll say it's interesting. JZ not really picking a side to push. They're more evenly spread out. Very, very concerted. Now, yesterday on Stream Raptor, I took a look at JZ versus TSMYQ, one of their games. That was the first and second place teams in their finals. And from JZ's perspective, they were very cautious early because the Chinese meta, as we saw in the last series, is very aggressive. Get in, get that first kill quickly, with especially Klebers. So I'm not surprised to see them playing very cautiously early on. But the question is going to be, when are they going to turn that around? They're already in C-cap, so has the turn started?
I think they realized that the C play was honestly an easy one, right? I mean, they probably don't have complete knowledge of the enemy deployment, but they've probably figured out by now that Rain is set up for a bit of a kiting flank over here along the 9-10 line. And Sheep's picking up C was basically opportunistic, free points for a while. And then so they were able to take up 2 caps and build about almost a 200-point lead here before JZ was able to get into C.
But look at Rain rotating their ships around.
Oh, yeah.
Ragnar, Daring,
Oh, yeah.
Kleber, Vermont, Moskva. They are ready to receive a JZ push through C, but I don't think JZ is ready to
not
do
happening.
that. No.
That's the thing. They're ready to receive a push that isn't going to occur, right? JZ, they've turned the Schlieffen around. They've turned the Kleber around. The Napoli's basically set up here. And the Stalingrad is in a position just to more or less hold the cap. So Rain is positioned for to receive a push that's not going to happen.
You know, it's interesting. We commented on this last weekend, how North, being such a smallish map, allows for easy, maneuvering and transitioning from one side to the next. We're seeing that with Rain. JZ, on the other hand, is basically saying, well, let's wait to see where they commit their assets.
All right, so Sheep's Kleber now on the 10 line. Malamute Montana also on the 10 line. Taking shots at Numi Schlieffen. Can we land any damage there? Not really.
Bit.
Gangbarangs Kleber all the way now over at C. If you remember, Zath, this is the man who capped A,
yeah,
which is now like 20 kilometers behind him.
Mm-hmm. But look at, we've got Kleber going into B now.
JZ Darling, yep, there's Darling headed into the B cap, spotted on the surface by Madara's Daring,
and the radar.
Yep, should be some shells and all kinds of shells crossing over this cap now.
Nice hits on the Daring there, on Madara's Daring.
Yep, JZ doing a great job of focusing Madara's Daring while they've got him lit. Rain attempting the same thing on Darling's Kleber, but not getting quite as much damage out of it. Not having as good as shots because of Artorias' position up here behind the island.
Yeah, very interesting to see. And then lots of shells on this Moskva, on Artorias 96's Moskva. What are we oohing about, sir?
So when Gangbarang moved up towards C, his RP, I think he's got RPF, right? Let's have a check. No, he doesn't.
No.
He had vomited torpedoes over here in front of the island position of the Stalingrad. I guess they knew the Stalin was there, banking that the Stalin would slide up, and he did. Stalin moved up and took 2 torpedoes in the bow, and is now having to heal and pull back. So they got some good hits there on Lang Wo, just because of heads-up destroyer play.
It looks like he's also burning, which is interesting.
Yeah, he was taking some fire, I think, from Sheep's Kleber over on the 10 line. So Rain was originally set up to receive a push along the C flank. It's not happening, so now they're making a push happen with the Montana and the 2 Klebers.
Yeah, Lang Wo spotted again. He did DCP, but now he's 40 odd seconds before he can start feeling any better about his position.
The Vermont shells are going in on him, though. There it is. There it is. Server Hopper was set up waiting for them to push him back to where he had a shot, and he finally managed it. Brain picks up first blood.
Yeah. I'll tell you, sorry, go ahead.
No, take it.
This season of King of the Sea, I feel like Stalingrad is becoming less and less useful.
Well, we've been seeing that for a while, though, right? Really, the commander skill changes that took away Stalin's survivability to fire. You know, you lost fire prevention, you lost basic survivability. Taking those skills away from cruisers has made some of the super cruisers almost liabilities.
Absolutely.
And so you're forced to choose between a static super cruiser that has a huge health pool but is susceptible to sustained fire versus a light cruiser like a Brisbane or a Minotaur that is more mobile but is more susceptible to the oops, I got slapped moments.
Right. Lao Pao, man, I'll tell you, Lao Pao did a nice job at A. Waited out the radar, popped his own radar, caught Basty's gearing on radar, but Basty still fell health. He's like, what are you going to do, shoot me? He just kept on going.
Yeah. Yep. Basty's still sitting there like, what are you going to do about it, right? Draws some Venezia shells, but nothing doing there. Basty still has a significant health advantage in that destroyer repair at A.
Look at 9 line. Nuomi Schlieffen is already almost dead.
Yeah, I think the Kleber's have been doing number on him between him and the Montana secondaries, or probably the Montana main battery.
Yeah, here comes the primary right now. Boom.
There he goes. So Rain's battleships in positions to make big, impactful salvos here as we cross over the halfway mark of the match. They have a 2-ship lead. Well, I say that.
Make that a 1-ship.
Yep. Lulu's Brisbane goes down over here to Fantong's Ohio.
Yuhua might take a torpedo in the Ragnar here. He does.
Ew, that's a big hit.
Yep. That forces the heal, the DCP. More importantly, they just really can't afford to stick around B anymore.
Well, they can't afford to give up the health on the ships they're trying to use to cap B because there's still 2 radars lurking nearby. Now, Hexagen's radar is in a position where it doesn't really cover the cap, so Darling's going to move up and try to get on the cap again. They're going to have to face spot him with Madara.
Wang Ji tries to do a solo YOLO play with his Napoli, takes Gangbering's, I think it was Gangbering's torpedoes, gets down to 7,000 hit points, and then Malum's Montana's like, go away.
just punches him out.
Yeah, done.
It's now a 2-ship lead for Rain. They do finally spot the Daring across. Daring and the Kleber spot each other across the cap. That draws out the Ragnar radar. They might be able to pick up the kill on Darling. Nope, Darling's dark.
Yep. But now they're all trying to shoot Yuhua's position. He's trying to back into the cap to do something. His engines were just out. He's forced to DCP. His radar's up, but he can't see anything. Oh man, at this point, if you're that Ragnar, do you back into B, or do you just... Oh well.
I don't know. I mean, they've pushed Rain off of A. Finally, the loss of Lulu at A means that they can't defend at A anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Baschi and Servers Vermont are backing off. So Rain really needs to make this play. They need to make things stick at B.
I tell you what, Hexagen pops his radar with his Ragnar, but look at Pulo's Salem now going straight in. They recognize they have to convert this kill. They have to get the B cap as well. They're kind of going all in on B.
I don't think they're going to convert this kill. In fact, the Vermont salvo's coming in on Pulo now. Decent hit. Hexagen is continuing to run. Caught under the radar. He's dark now.
Yep. Yuhua took some more hits in the Ragnar. But whatever, he managed to help push forces off. But look, Mosfa is about to swing this door shut. With Gangbering's Kleber in tow, by the way.
Yep. With the 10 line, with the 10 line secure, Sheep and Malibu are going to pick up C. That's going to allow Rain to keep ticking back points up again.
Here comes the AP. Yep, there it is. There's the Citadels on Pulo's Salem. There's some additional fire from the Vermont.
Gangberang just at point blank range now with him. Going to ground himself in front of the island. Doesn't want to give up too much HP for a kill that they're basically going to secure here in moments.
Yeah, all he needs to do is hold as Yuhua goes down in the Ragnar. This game is pretty much decided. Oh, now it's definitely decided.
Servers Vermont speaks again, and that ends that Salem's run. That ought to tidy things up here. Gangberang will just waltz into the B cap. When that starts ticking over, we'll be just seconds away from a Rain win here. Ooh, Hexagen getting punished by Fantong's Ohio. But
yeah.
Regardless, Rain showing why they are that EU2 seed, Zath. They're looking really good here against JZ.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As Darling now in the Kleber detected, trying to just vomit torps and run.
No, they're going to pick him up too. It's only a matter of time. Now, Sheep's reload booster is on cooldown, so that he's not able to get his guns to reload very quickly, but he doesn't need to. All he needs is to spot for his teammates, and Gangberang claims picks that kill up.
Yeah, you don't need guns when your teammates have them and they're helping.
You got it.
Okay, well, 42 seconds left, unless somebody else dies.
Seems unlikely. There's not an easy kill for JZ to pick up here now.
No. No, there really isn't, and I wouldn't be surprised if... Look, see, Gangberang even going in on this. Just
Oh,
Feng Tong's like,
getting-
come on.
He's like, I mean, we can play this game, but I can hit pretty hard too, sir. The Venezia shell's out looking for Gangbarang, but not doing quite as much damage as they need to.
That's right. Feng Tong is just getting hammered here, getting Robocopped, and that's pretty much going to expire.
2 seconds.
That's it.
There it is. Wow.
So our first...
You know, Zath?
Go ahead. There you go, sir.
No, take it.
Okay, so we have our first time seeing #1 China. What do you think?
I really have to give this one, and you can see it there on the kill boards, right? You almost have to give this one to Rain's battleships. We have seen plenty of games of King of the Sea over the years where battleship play isn't necessarily impactful, where either the battleship players are not they're not looking for the right targets, they're not coordinating with their teammates, or they get farmed out too quickly. That game to me feels like a masterclass in how to position battleship, how to use it, and how to react with it. Right? That Malamu's Montana was going to be the quiet flank, Zath. It was going to be he started the game on the eye line, just chilling, waiting to receive a push that never came. So what does he do? He speeds up, he takes his 30 knots, he runs down the 10 line and cleans house.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic game by Rain. Good showing by Jay-Z. We still have one more to go. Let's throw it back to the studio.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 of Jay-Z and Rain here. We're looking at the Chinese champion, that's Jay-Z, and Rain here in the green on the north side of Land of Fire. Zath, what's Rain packing here for Game 2?
Well, Raptor, Rain is bringing 2 battleships that we've seen so far today. We've got a Sniper Spec Ohio and a Burgon. Now, the Burgon is basically a heal spec plus a little bit of damage brought in. And in front of them, we've got a Brizzy, that's Lulu Snail, in his torpedo spec, even with Pyrotechnician as a commander skill.
That.
Interesting. 2 Klebears in front. We've got Arturius with basically a gun build. Klebear, Gangbarang also in a gun build, so they're not interested in unique upgrade. Behind them is Basti's Gearing, once again with that Dazzle we were talking about. That's the same build as last game. And Des Moines behind him with a unique upgrade. Going to the middle of the map is Hexagen's Ragnar gun build. And then finally, Napoli, Real Ship Shady, off on his own with range and pretty much just, I'm by myself skills.
All by myself.
That's right.
He's going to be lonely over there to see how it goes.
He will, and if you keep singing, you might be too. But anyway, tell us if you would about the Jay-Z lineup, sir.
All right, let's have a look at what Jay-Z is going to be sending over to sea. They've got Fentong's Ohio, brisk in concealment and fire prevention and artillery plotting in slot 6, not surprising. A Napoli of their own, that's Yeqiu, going for RPF, and it looks like top-grade gunner to go with his concealment and reload in slot 6. Wanzi's Klebear, this is a unique/legendary Klebear there, going full concealment, so he's fairly stealthy. He ought to be able to pick up Ship Shady here in a moment. That'll probably draw some Ohio fire. Normie's Des Moines going to play mid here. Very close in on the B cap, backed up by Pulo's Stalingrad. This is a much more traditional Stalingrad position.
Yes.
Running range and RPF. Yuhua's Daring, working the gap at the moment in between A and B. You see there the early Stalin radar going up, catching Hexagen at the top of B.
And
then all the way...
Basti's Gearing. There it is right there.
Yep, they can see finally Basti's Gearing getting smoked in, smoking Madara's Des Moines up to that island. We've seen many teams make this play over the course of the tournament. Over here at the A cap, we've got, it's going to be double Klebear versus Harugumo and Shimakaze here. Gunfights breaking out all over the map, Zath. This Harugumo's in trouble.
Yeah, Darling pops the brake, pops the smoke, and says, enough, please stop, as both Arturius and Gangbarang just engaged French radar. Oh, and Darling pulls out of his smoke, trying to get a little bit of maneuverability, and just as he's settling in, here comes the radar from Lulu Snail's Brizzy.
I was going to say, Lao Pao's Shima was sitting outside that smoke, continuing to spot for Darling, who was getting good damage into Arturius. But now with Lulu's radar coming in, they should be able to bag this kill and then get some damage into the Shimakaze as well.
Darling beaching and offloading his troops, because that's pretty much it for that Gumo. He's down. Now Lao Pao is next.
Radar expires, so Lau's going to sneak away. But certainly not an auspicious start for JZ, losing a destroyer here on the A flank already.
I'll tell you what, it's interesting seeing Yuhua's daring going where he ended up going, right? Because he's basically... We saw HXH put the... I think that was a Vamp Deuce, but same principle, hydro-equipped ship on the other side of the island, and that was a great opportunity to do that. But they didn't want to take it.
It doesn't matter. Daring's hydro was only 3 kilometers, so by taking a Daring, you can't make that position work because it's about 3.5 kilometers outside of that island from there. So you need the Vampire Deuce's 5-kilometer hydro to pull that off.
Yep, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. Maybe at the very tip. Otherwise, yeah, it's not helpful. Good point.
Yep. So Wanzi's Kleber bags C. Both teams ticking up a cap now. 100-point lead for Rain on the strength of that early kill. Not even quite 5 minutes gone, but man, the shells have been flying already.
Absolutely. Now, I'll tell you what, if you're that Kremlin, if you're Langwo, you're thinking, all right, where am I going to go? He's kind of just dropping anchor right now. I'm interested to see what he's thinking. Perhaps...
Yeah, we kind of got busy. I didn't actually look at Langwo's Kremlin build. Let's have a quick peek. Most survivability, although he is running brisk back there. Okay. Rain sending a tremendous amount of force to A, and it pays off. They pick up A. Now trying to focus out Yuha's Daring as the conga line torpedoes start to arrive on Hexagen, but he should be able to move up just a hair and dodge those handily.
Yeah, nice attempt with those torpedoes. I do like their spacing. It makes Hexagen think that he's safe. He's even backing up already, but he's counting. 1, 2.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say I like the spacing, but I feel like maybe he should have spaced them out even a little further than that.
Agreed.
Right? Maybe more like 10 to 12 seconds apart. Really mess with the Ragnar's timing there.
Agreed. But I'll tell you, when you're on radar and everybody's shooting at you, I
know.
Totally get it.
I'm aware. I get it. So now, the double Kleber team of Gangrang and Artorias looks like they're going to rotate towards the middle of the map. Rain knows they've got more or less lock-solid control of the A-cap, at least in the short term. So now they're going to go make a play over at B.
Where did these torpedoes come from?
So Wanzi's Kleber moved up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which you're talking about the torpedoes on Hexagen, right?
Yeah.
So that little gap off to his port bow right here along the 6-7 line.
I see it.
Wanzi's Kleber moved right up into that gap, fired the torpedoes, and then just kept running.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
It was a very clever maneuver. I watched him do it. I wasn't sure the torpedoes were going to be impactful, but they probably made Hexagen a little nervous there, I'm betting.
Oh yeah, I think so.
They're trying to trap real ship Shady way up in the corner of the map.
They're gonna do
Server hoppers. Well, they are. Server hoppers Ohio is rotating back to kind of give Yiku's Napoli something to think about. Not really landing any notable shells there.
Yeah, give him time.
Still plenty of time in the game. We're only 7 minutes in. JZ down a ship, but continuing to aggressively push up the 9-10 line. Looking for a way into the B cap.
Yeah, Kremlin was detected on Lulu Snell's radar just now. So, okay, they know where he is. They know how he's oriented. It's interesting. I would have thought at a certain point, JZ needs to counter push back into A.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see him kind of being this complacent isn't the word I want to use, but it's the best one I can come up with on short notice, right? It feels like the Kremlin is kind of wasted at the moment. You
Agreed.
can almost make that case for Malamu, but he's at least playing defense, right? While he's here, his team is ticking up points.
Yep.
The Kremlin, though, doesn't feel that way. Maybe waiting for Lulu to poke his head out again?
Ship Shady, by the way, just got smacked by, I think that was the Ohio that was pushing through C right now. He's forced to make Inky, play on the border, all that stuff.
Shady's definitely going to go down. It's simply a question of how long it takes and what he can, how much he can do along the way. He's going to sail right into these Kleber torpedoes. What a beautiful salvo. Oh, my goodness.
That just doesn't have the legs.
That just doesn't have the legs. They die meters from his hull. All skill, no luck, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yuhao's definitely, his daring has been just hammered at B. He really can't take the risk of moving back up again. Rain mostly playing for kind of just a holding action at B. I was expecting Artorias and Gangbarang to make a play for the cap, but they haven't. They're on the north side of it.
They don't exactly need it. I think they want to see what's going to happen with the Napoli duel up there to the north.
Say, look at this. We're having a fight in A10, Zath.
Yep.
This is how far they've suckered these ships out of position.
Well, I mean, the other thing too, I think, is knowing that the Kremlin isn't really pushing. They gotta have time.
Well, he is. He's kind of pushing stern first now. Check it out. This is the strangest thing I think I've ever seen a Kremlin do.
He's reversing as Ship Shady does finally take a torpedo.
He's reversing into the cap. This is a little bizarre, to put it lightly. Lulu sneaks out to dump some conga line torps, but the stern turret is looking. Lulu gets hammered.
And Ship Shady finally goes down in the exact corner, absolute corner of the map.
Wow. Wow.
Talk about painting yourself into a corner.
Lulu moves up and pays the price as now Lao Pao's Shimacot on Brisbane radar. Have to try and get out of there and see what he can salvage from a health perspective. Beautiful cross torps on Wang Wo, though. Check this out.
Yep, a couple of gearing torpedoes hitting. 3, actually.
Three gearing torpedoes as the conga line torpedoes from the Daring crawl up his stern. He's going to take them. He's going to take 2 and go out.
Wow.
Sorry, I say Daring. I meant Brisbane. That was Lulu's torpedoes.
That was, and that's the strength of that Brizzy there.
Wow.
Fantastic play.
Brilliant coordination from Rain.
And just so many questions from JZ. Well, I've never seen a Kremlin used that way before. That was very awkward, to put it lightly.
Just
moonwalking his way to A.
just taking his time. Like, we're just gonna get there when we get there, baby.
Well, the far extreme northeast flank is now starting to rotate and get into this. But with the loss of the Kremlin at A, yeah, I see
Madara.
I see them, the single fire torps.
Madara is having to make some kind of last second maneuvers here as the conga line torps come in.
Nope, he'll be okay. There's no hydro on either of them. Oh, Bastiff. He keeps backing up here. Nope. That first one warned him off.
Oh, very, very close.
Oh.
As Lulu bags another kill with the torpedoes on the Shimakaze. The power of the Brisbane torpedoes seen again here in King of the C-15.
Yeah, what a crazy torp salvo. Outstanding. So at this point, if you are, and there's the replay of that. If you are JZ, how do you get back into this, Raptor?
I'm not sure you can. I mean, if the Kremlin had an impactful salvo or 2 on his way off the board and maybe managed to chunk somebody down, sure. But now there is literally nothing to stop Malamu and Lulu from just wrapping the B cap and crushing out the JZ forces that are still around it. It's interesting to me to see that Rain has basically just played for a holding action. A stalemate is all they ever wanted at B, right? They had a ship lead, they had a points lead.
Yep.
They didn't overreach at B. They just said, look, all we got to do, we got to keep them off B. It doesn't matter if we get it, we just have to make sure that they don't. And they've been content with that thus far. Well,
they're playing Stratagema, Raptor.
Well, and they're winning so far anyway.
They're winning by trying not to win, ladies and gentlemen.
That's exactly right. Ohio salvo going downrange on Pulos Stalingrad, who seems to be the next pick target as he's getting focused by all 3 destroyers on the north side of the B cap.
Yeah. Like, those shells are nice, but you know he's dying anyways, so...
He's going to go out here. He certainly got dunked by the Ohio. The destroyer shells continuing to fall, and there he goes.
Yep. Nuome is next. Burgon finally making the push. Look at him going around. He's got the broadside of this Des Moines now.
Yeah.
Here comes the hate.
Nuome got hammered a minute ago. They do lose Artorias, but there goes Nuome. As Gangbarang charges into B. The Piranha's kind of descending now. Rain knowing they have a ship advantage and a cap lead, they can afford to take a few more risks that they might not have taken 5 or 6 minutes ago.
That's right.
In fact, I think Gangbarang is just going to flat out charge Yuhua's Daring and finish him off.
They have taken the field, and now they will take their spirit. It ends today.
Seems Seems that way. Something to see them driven before you in the Lamentations of the Women, Zath?
We're about to see much lamentations.
We're gonna see some more Lamentations before this game is over, I'm afraid. Oh, just Gangbang, just like, I'm just gonna drive up here and execute you. It's just like no big deal at this point.
You notice he didn't
Wow.
even bother turning. He just kept the guns.
No, he just kept on going. Just kept on going. Well, it's all over but the crying here. Jay-Z's gonna lose game 2 as well. But I mean, you know, Zath, they're up against one of the most experienced competitive teams in competitive warships today.
Yeah,
right? Rain
yeah.
has been around forever. They're a former EU champion. They're the current EU second place. They're an excellent team. You know, even though Jay-Z's going to lose both of these games, you can't. I mean, if I'm them, I'm not upset with my performance, right?
Come on, it's their first time playing on the international stage like this. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely. They've done a
I-
great showing for themselves.
They have, and I think it's noteworthy that we've talked many times about how the different servers each played differently. I was actually fielding some questions in my chat earlier about this. Somebody was asking me like, why does it feel like that the NA teams never perform as well as at international? And I said, well, you have to remember the international meta is a global thing, and each server is a little different.
Yep.
They're going to punch out Madara here, I think. No, the Ohio Salvo
Nope.
can't quite make it. And I think that, like we were saying, this is Jay-Z's first time to kind of get exposed to it. I think they're showing up playing their game, and they're playing it well, and they're just meeting some folks who have a little more experience.
Absolutely right. These guys have done their homework. They've got their experience, as you mentioned, and they're here to fight. They're here to win. So we'll see how Rain and Jay-Z does for the rest of the day. But I'll tell you, both teams looking pretty strong.
Yep, agreed. And if nothing else, I love the aggression, right? I
Oh, yeah.
love teams that show up like ready to fight. Like, we're here to fight. Let's fight. Let's not just stare at each other across a cap circle.
Well, and
That makes the game more.
that goes back to my comment about Stalingrad before, right? It feels like that more static meta where Stalingrad was so important, kind of going away.
Going away. Yeah, it's going away. All right, well, let's throw it back to the studio, guys. We'll see you again for the next series shortly. All right, looks like we are clear. All right, who's our last room host of the day? It is Lemon again.